Good evening, and welcome to today's Tropics for June 18th, 2021. Please note, I'm not a meteorologist, and this video is just a collection of my thoughts and opinions about the storm I'm talking about. And for any decision making, please consult the National Hurricane Center or your local officials. So today I'm looking at potential tropical cyclone 3 again. It has become better organized and is pretty much on the precipice of becoming a tropical storm. There is this low pressure center at the low levels, but isn't quite well defined enough to become a tropical cyclone yet. However, this is pretty much irrelevant now because the impacts are occurring and will occur regardless of if this becomes a tropical cyclone or not. Uh, but it does seem likely that it will become one in the next few hours before it moves inland, probably with the help of frictional effects with land as it approaches landfall. Now looking at the water vapor loop here, you can see an amplifying upper level ridge ahead of the upper level trough that's been around PTC 3 for a while, and you can see that westerly shear coming up in here, and then that negatively tilted trough here that is currently causing some subsidence over the northwestern Gulf of Mexico here. And if we go back to the visible imagery, yeah, you can see that or looking at this spin here, everything west of it is totally barren. There's no convection at all, except maybe a few puffs here that can't really keep themselves going. But yeah, it's very dry to the west, and that's because of the upper level convergence and general subsidence in that region. So that's causing some dry conditions further west of PTC3. But on the flip side here, you have upper divergence as a result of this ridge here, and that's where all this rain and wind and all the weather is really occurring now. Now we've gotten a recon mission into PTC3, but it seems that's not quite developed yet. They passed through here, or passed through kind of with a southeast northwest pass, and they found a pretty good wind shift that almost seemed to be like a tropical cyclone. But then they went through for a southwest northeast pass, and they didn't really find something that would suggest a tropical cyclone. Instead, you kind of had a wind shift here, but it was pretty weak, and that's probably because it's still just barely a trough here. That's or sort of uh, like this, and you have a good wind shift from the southwesterly winds over here, the northeasterlies, except there's not as much of that wind flow from the northwesterlies to the southeasterlies like you'd expect in a well-defined circulation. We do have this seemingly, or what seems to be a mesovortex that's kind of dropping to the south. But if we see that kind of try to become dominant and close off that trough, then we would probably have a tropical cyclone. But again, whether it becomes Claudette or not, the impacts are already occurring and will occur no matter if this very sharp trough here closes off or not. And right now we have some heavy rain coming into parts of Louisiana and the coast of Mississippi, Alabama, and parts of the Florida Panhandle, and that's with that deep tropical uh, push of moisture here. And you can see the kind of rotation around the storm right now. There is that general broad rotation, but nothing too well defined yet. But anyway, are some embedded thunderstorms, and these are causing some heavy, possibly flooding rains in this region. And it's the reason why we do have a possibility for flash flooding. But uh, along with this, you have a few embedded waterspouts that may come ashore, and a possibility for some tornadoes. If we go back to that water vapor loop, we can see over some of these areas there is a lot of wind shear, and that would support some weak tornadoes. Nothing too strong, but uh, the possibility for some tornadoes like you would expect in a landfalling tropical cyclone, because the impacts this is bringing are essentially equivalent to one, even if it may not be one. But the main issue is heavy, possibly flooding rain, and the thunderstorms with possibly embedded stronger winds, aside from the wind that's already a result of that circulation, and also the possibility for some isolated tornadoes that are likely going to be on the weak side. Now let's take a look at the actual uh, uh, forecast cones from the National Hurricane Center, and you can see again how lopsided it is. You've got the tropical storm force winds pretty much stopping right to the west of it, but then extending all the way to pretty much uh, south of Mobile, Alabama, Mobile, Alabama, and so that yeah, it's very, very lopsided over there, and that's why you have the tropical storm force winds pretty much stopping where it's expected to come ashore, but extending well to the east into the Florida Panhandle. So those potentially high winds, as the more or as the uh, area with more convection and thunderstorm activity coincides with the northward movement, and so you have the stronger winds because of that. So while the wind isn't expected to be the main threat, there will be some possibly a damaging wind, especially embedded in thunderstorms. And along with that, you also have um, saturated soils, perhaps making it easier for stuff like trees to fall. So hopefully you're prepared for some mildly damaging winds. But again, rainfall is a big threat here, as you can see. And as it comes in and curves to the northeast into the westerlies, you'll notice that not too much of it will be on the western side of that, and that's because it is already lopsided that much. But instead, you'll have the majority of the wind, or of the rain, that is, coming into the eastern side of the system. So you'll have a moderate possibility of flash flooding even far inland as it brings that moisture up with it. Uh, and so, if you are in one of those flood prone areas, depending on where you are, effects are already occurring or will occur within the next couple of days. So, hopefully, you are already prepared for that to occur. And as always, stay safe. If you have any questions, comments about my video, please let me know. Thanks for watching.